We gonna rock with it. We gonna see if this is hentai mode, if this is anime mode. We're gonna find out.
Anime recap here. Today I'm going to explain a fantasy romance anime called Trapped in a Dating Sim. The world of otome games is tough for mobs. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In present-day Japan, a man is forced to play an otome game by his sister. He unwillingly plays this day and night, hoping to reach 100% completion of the game. Throughout his playthrough, he can't help but express his disdain for the characters and just about anything from the game. After spending a few days doing nothing but playing the game, he finally completes it.
That's
At this
literally
point,
everybody
he is
playing
now
Elden.
too hungry to even stand up. He tries to get to the convenience store, but he falls from the stairs in the apartment complex he lives in and loses consciousness. In another world lies Holfort Kingdom. A young boy named Leon Faux Bartfort wakes up from a dream. He finds himself in the middle of a vast green field. He hurries home only to be reprimanded by his parents. The boy's
Wild.
circumstances are unfortunate. Being the son of a mistress, he, together with his brother, is banished to live in the storage shed instead of the main house. In this world he inhabits, women have power over everything. It's a matriarchal
tough.
society that they live in. During a conversation with his brother, Leon
it's fine,
regains
it's
a
fine.
few of his memories from another life, that of the life he lived in modern-day Japan. He specifically remembers the details about the otome game he played. Judging from the details of this current world he lives in, it's the same as the otome game world. The young boy concludes that he now lives in a world of the otome game. It has now been 10 years since Leon regained his memories. He recalls that the Batfort family didn't appear in the game. Basically, he's a background character, or mob. He now spends his days peacefully. Being a mob character is not a bad thing after all. No conflicts, no
Simple life as a
drama,
farmer.
just the pure bliss of everyday life. One day though, his peaceful life is disturbed. Lady Zola, his father's wife, informed him that she arranged for him to be married to a woman he had never met. Their family is poor, so this marriage is one way for
That's tough. Okay.
is 50 years old and has been married 7 times.
Rip in the chat.
Not to mention all of her husbands have died in battle. According to Lady Zola, no one wants to marry a man after he's turned 20. Leon is already considered lucky that someone even wants to marry him. Leon absolutely does not wish to get married in this way, so he thinks of a means to get the money. If he does acquire some money, then the marriage will be off. He sets off to the skies looking for something that the otome game's protagonist would supposedly acquire. This thing could cost enough to call the arranged marriage off. Unfortunately, while on his way to get this thing, the flying boat he's riding on gets caught up in a tornado, destroying it in the process. Luck, though, is still on Leon's side. He makes it to the place where the thing can be found. Now, all that's left for him to do is acquire it. Using his otome game knowledge, he navigates through the area smoothly. Soon enough, he finds the thing, an ancient spaceship. He gets inside and makes his way to the control room. When he reaches it, a robot set to destroy intruders welcomes him. He battles the robot using any tricks that he has up in his sleeve. According to the robot, the old civilization was destroyed when faced with a new breed of humans who possessed magic powers. The robot's duty is to destroy new humans, Leon himself included. Leon, however, does not let this happen. He manages to defeat the robot before it can end him. Now he can take the ancient spaceship, but soon after this, he faints, having sustained injuries from fighting the robot. It turns out it has already been 3 months since Leon set off to find the ancient spaceship. His family hasn't heard from him at all, and Lady Zola presumes him dead. One day, much to everyone's surprise, Leon comes home in the ancient spaceship filled with many treasures. He and Luxion, Leon's robot, the robot who operates the ancient spaceship and the one Leon defeated, has looted along the way. His parents are very happy to see him, but Lady Zola cannot say the same. She is not happy that he is alive and well for some reason. And with that, Leon is set to attend Holfort Academy, the academy where most of the otome game takes place. It looks like his plan to live peacefully as a mob continues. Leon is now an independent knight. He has also found an uninhabited island on his way home from acquiring the ancient spaceship. Good things keep coming for Leon as he is also granted a barony. Why, you may ask? It's because he cleared an unexplored dungeon and discovered an uninhabited island. It's Leon's first day of school at Holfort Academy. Here, he will learn about noble etiquette, basic adventuring skills, and magic, all while looking for a future wife. At the school entrance, he comes across the Otome Game's love interest. They are all what you call bishonen or ikemen. He also sees the rich girl antagonist and Prince Julius's fiancée, Angelica. After the entrance ceremony, he spots a girl slapping one of the love interests, Prince Julius. He overhears the conversation and recognizes that it is an in-game event. There's one difference from the game though. The girl involved is not the main heroine of the game. This is a different girl. But Leon is sure he has seen the girl before. Leon easily befriends some of the students,
he's about
such as
to
Daniel
go ahead and steal all the
Raymond.
girls.
They talk about finding girls of their own standing, coming from not so popular but still noble families. It seems their search is far from over. One of Leon's friends hosts a tea party, so he's doing his best to prepare for it. While talking, the group observes the prince and one of his friends from a distance. A bunch of girls is surrounding the prince, asking about his tea party. Angelica arrives to talk to the prince, but the prince stands his ground and asks her not to intimidate him. The prince turns his attention to Marie, inviting her to his tea party. Angelica objects to this, saying that Marie would be out of place at the party. The prince asserts himself, and Angelica is left with no choice but to allow it. Leon recognizes that what is happening is an event from the game. Still, once again, the girl involved is not the main protagonist. He can't help but wonders what's going on. While he's curious, he doesn't interfere with any of these. He swears to never get involved with any of the characters from the Otome game. All he wants is to live his life as a mob character peacefully. At school, Leon has had a newfound love for tea parties. He loves them so much that he even throws one himself. He originally invited a baron's daughter, but she brought along her friends and their servants when she arrived. The party's attendees do not exactly behave as expected, with one of them being rude enough to demand more tea. One of them even says that being at Leon's party was a decent way to pass the time. After Leon's guests have left, he notices a group of girls bullying another girl. Luxian says that the girl is there on a scholarship. The poor girl must have been bullied because she is a commoner. Leon recognizes her as Olivia, the game's protagonist. Although he swears never to get involved with the game, Leon still invites her to tea. Olivia accepts his invitation. She is a very polite girl, saying that the snacks and tea are really good. She mentions that she wants to study magic more, but she doesn't know anything about the academy's rules and unspoken agreements. Leon consoles her and responds that there is one person she can count on. This person is actually Leon's older sister, Jenna Faux Bartford. Jenna advises Olivia to introduce herself to the most important girls in her class. In order to do this, she must approach one of the important girl's followers and give her gifts, such as sweets from popular shops. Olivia worries about this as it might be expensive. Jenna suggests having Leon pay for it instead. Leon disagrees with this suggestion right away, but he still does it in the end. The most important girl in Olivia's class turns out to be Angelica. Olivia gives her the sweets, and Angelica accepts them, saying that she'll allow her to sit quietly in the corner as long as she knows her place. She clarifies that she is not trying to push Olivia out of the academy, explaining that she doesn't enjoy such crude behavior. Hey, the supposed antagonist isn't villainous after all. Olivia mentions that it was Leon who advised her to approach Angelica in this way. Angelica knows him as the one who acquired a barony on his own. Leon is adamant about staying a mob character, but is he really one? He's become quite the talk of the town. Daniel and Raymond skip exploration class, leaving Leon all on his own. To make matters worse, he is classmates with all of the game's love interests, and even the protagonist herself. But before they could all start exploring, Angelica causes a scene. She confronts Marie, saying that she and the prince are of different social standings, and she should know her place. The prince defends Marie from Angelica. While they watch the commotion, Leon asks Olivia about Marie. It turns out that Marie is the daughter of a poor viscount. The rest of the prince's entourage interrupts Angelica's tirade, and they all set off to do some exploration. Angelica is humiliated by this. Meanwhile, at the dungeon, Leon partners up with Olivia. They do a bit of exploring until they run into huge monsters guarding an enormous chunk of crystals. Olivia panics and suggests that they get help from others, but Leon says that the two of them will be used as meat shields anyway, so there's no point in waiting for them. To Olivia's amazement, Leon easily defeats the monsters using the sword Luxian has made for him. But just when Leon and Olivia thought everything is over, the monsters suddenly increase in numbers. It is at this moment that the prince and his entourage arrive. They ensure the two that they will handle things from there. Angelica and her group arrive later. Despite being supposedly good at battle, the prince still gets a scratch. Angelica worries over him, and so does Maria. Maria uses healing magic to make his injury disappear. The prince is surprised, as he doesn't know that she can use healing magic. Maria tells him she wants to keep her ability a secret. Still worried, Angelica rushes over to the prince, but he acts coldly towards her. He leaves her alone and grabs Maria
I'll take
by
my
the
healing
hand.
girl now.
Angelica is again humiliated by this. It turns out that the prince and Leon are also injured in the battle. Olivia instantly cures his injury using healing magic, saying that magic is the only thing she's good at. She also mentions that she became a scholar at the academy because someone discovered her talent. Meanwhile, as they talk away from everyone, Maria wears an evil grin. With Maria's bag and textbooks burned, the prince turns to Angelica, perhaps insinuating that she has something to do with this. According to the prince, the girls who were found at the scene said that it was her who ordered them to do it, but Angelica denies this. But even so, the prince orders her to stay away from them, especially Maria at the academy. Meanwhile, Leon, Daniel, and Raymond are hanging out and talking about how some guys just got engaged. Leon's friends are somewhat affected by this, since the girls involved are girls who were nice to them. They get dejected over this, saying it's the end for them. Leon joins them by saying that he sends out invitations to tea parties, but they just get ignored. They also talk about Prince Julius's recent issues. Rumor has it that Maria is getting bullied, and the one behind it all is Angelica. Prince Julius is rumored to get mad at Angelica for this, and Leon recalls that there was also an in-game event wherein Julius got mad at Angelica. Still, it's not supposed to happen until much later. While at the library, Leon asks Olivia what Maria is like, and she mistakenly assumes that he must like her. Olivia, in return, asks him whether he likes girls such as Maria. Olivia remembers the only time she talked to her. She says that, "I hate girls like you." Suddenly, they hear voices coming from a secluded area in the library. It seems like a couple is there to have some fun. Leon rushes over, curious to find out who these people could be. Olivia follows, reminding Leon that it's bad to peek at others. Imagine their surprise when they find Maria kissing another guy. And what's worse, this guy is one of the prince's
drama
entourage.
continues.
Big yikes. Maria walks down the hall with that evil grin on her face. She feels relieved that the dumb girls are no longer bullying her, thanks to Prince Julius. The prince and Jilk, a member of his entourage, meet her in the hallway. They inform her that they will pay for her to have a personal servant. Of course, she is more than happy to hear this. Lucky girl. Now all she has to do is act cute and helpless, and these clueless boys will be at her mercy. Maria's inner thoughts reveal that she, like Leon, knows that the world they live in is an Otome Games world. Can she be reincarnated in this? Angelica gets furious when she hears about Maria getting her own personal slave. It seems to her that Prince Julius is deeply in love with Maria. She mulls over how she has lived her life to serve the prince, and now this happens. On the other hand, Jenna visits Leon in his room and asks about Maria. He tells her that she's quite close with Prince Julius and other men as he thinks about seeing her kiss another guy. Jenna asks him whether or not he's involved in Maria's bullying. Leon answers that he's not. Jenna reminds him that since Prince Julius will be eventually succeeding the throne, getting into his good side will make him set for life. On the contrary, getting on the prince's bad side will not end well for him. The first semester ends with Leon not finding a wife. All he did was host tea parties and explore some dungeons. Leon and his friends plan to get girlfriends with the academy hosting a party, and apparently, some nobles from the backwoods found theirs at this party. During their first try, the girls they approached downright declined them. While still tasting his bitter defeat, Olivia approaches Leon, saying there's an emergency. It's once again Angelica versus the prince and his entourage. Here we see the prince acting as douchey as usual towards Angelica. Out of pure love and devotion for the prince, Angelica tries to explain her side. She says that she saw Maria holding hands with a man that was not the prince. Prince Julius, however, refuses to listen to what she has to say. It seems he is tangled up deeply in Maria's web of lies and deceit. Angelica asks the whole entourage whether or not they are aware that she is involved with all of them. One of the guys replies that he is well aware of this, but still he wishes to protect Maria. One by one, the guys of the prince's entourage start confessing their feelings for Maria. It seems like they have no problem with her getting involved with all of them. Angelica has suffered enough humiliation to even get to this point. Her fiancé outright claiming his love for another woman in public is like a blow to the gut. Onlookers are now talking amongst themselves, saying their engagement will now probably be called off. She
I
throws
think I
her
gotta
glove
go
at
with the
Maria,
nose.
challenging her to a duel. This is also an event in the anime game. In the game, the character with the highest relationship score with the protagonist duels in the protagonist's place. This time though, everyone from the prince's entourage volunteers to duel in Maria's place. Angelica glances around, looking for support, but no one seems concerned enough to step up for her.
When
Leon
in doubt-
recalls that in the game, if the protagonist
in
wins the
doubt-
duel, Angelica will eventually marry a backcountry lord with a
Oh.
terrible personality and live a miserable life. As soon
When
as
in
he
doubt,
learned that
call on
he's
the
been
farmer.
reincarnated into the Otome Games world, Leon swore to himself that he would never interfere with the game's story and remain a mob character. But at this moment, seeing the look of despair on Angelica's
It's
face
time.
and the knowledge that
Time, the
eventually
real
her life
side
will be
character
ruined,
farmer
he can
protagonist
no longer turn a
enters
blind
the
eye
fray.
to it. He steps up and volunteers to be her champion.
I'll beat your ass.
Olivia and his friends
free.
call him out on this, but he says that he really hates the love interests. Besides, he had Luxian look into
cringe.
Maria's background and found out that she is truly not from Haltford Kingdom, like him. Leon asks Angelica what her demands are for the opposing party. All Angelica wants is for Maria to stay away from the prince. As for the prince and his entourage, Maria's demand is for Angelica to stop being so cruel. Having completed the game, Leon already knows beforehand what Maria's demands are, commenting that she's not even copying the words from the game correctly. Leon suggests that they do an armored battle, to which the other party agrees. He also proposes that it's him versus the five, the prince and his entourage. Leon seems way too confident at this, and the Skull are already betting against Leon even before the duel has started. Talk about being unpopular. Meanwhile, Angelica urges
Oh, Jesus.
Leon to withdraw from the duel. Word has come to her that his room has been vandalized. She's actually very considerate, insisting that she'll be fine and there's no need for him to suffer. Leon refuses to back down though, not after he can finally have the chance to trample those that he dislikes. The day of the duel arrives, and as expected, everyone is cheering for the prince. The prince's entourage has their flashy armors out, but the students are laughing at Leon's armor for being old and outdated. The first person Leon duels is Brad Fofield, the purple-haired guy previously seen kissing Maria. Leon ends up using a shovel as his weapon.
Okay.
Even if Leon has a weird weapon, Brad loses in an instant. Leon's next battle is against Greg Foe Seberg, another one of the prince's entourage. The outcome is the same. Leon wins. He also defeats Chris via Arclight, who accuses Leon of unchivalrous behavior after he fires at Chris. Leon coolly responds that they're only weak and didn't take him seriously in this fight. Jill convinces Jenna to plant explosives throughout Leon's armor, right before the third match. Knowing that Jenna will never do anything to get on Prince Julius' bad side, they send her to destroy Leon. She's also angry with her brother, as he seems to be hell-bent on angering the prince. After all, doing so can affect not only Leon's future, but also their whole family. This dirty move shows that the prince's entourage seems to be desperate to win this. Leon finds out about this when Luxian reports to him. Unfortunately for Jilk though, he still gets beaten by Leon. Even though Leon's armor seems old and clunky, he still defeated these nobles. Go Leon!
Subscribe to watch more videos like this.
Bro, and then I got this. You out here watching any hentai, recap hentai. I kind of want to click on it though. You know what I mean? Know what I mean?